Let me get this tweeted out so we can join in here. 1 second. All right, awesome, awesome, awesome. Good, good, good. Let me just make sure the sound is coming through okay. So good news. Got the computer up and running today, so it's been stable all day, so that's a good thing. So we should actually have a nice fresh stream here. Got the computer up and running today, so it should be going pretty smooth today. So good stuff. All right, well, happy Monday, everybody. I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. And so today we're going to be talking about a fresh topic here: day trading around big events. And today we're going to be talking about Straddles. Okay, so Straddles is a pretty cool tool. And big events. I think we got a big event coming up here. I can't remember what it. Oh yeah, the elections tomorrow. So that's kind of an interesting one. So we'll see how that goes. We'll also look at back at the last one and see how things behave. Before we do that, everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look and see where we left off in the market here today. And then we'll take a look at the futures. I think last night, and just because the computer was going all crazy and I had to use the laptop, we'll take a look at the futures and see what they're looking like this evening and possibly setting up into the rest of the night and into tomorrow. And then we'll go through the topic and then we'll take questions and chart requests. So let's get started. All right, so SPX today up 40 points. A lot of that from the gap, but it was still a pretty decent range today. Monthly chart, right? You can see here we're kind of a double inside month right now, so all this is subject to change coming into tomorrow. So we'll see where that goes. Weekly chart inside week so far, so a little bit of just kind of a compression, kind of anticipation, of what might be coming up along the way. But one of the big notes here that we've been talking about on all the videos and live streams is what the cloud did here, right? So we looked over the cloud cliff right here that started to get some volatility going up again, brought things down, kind of worked its way up. It started to look like it might get to all-time highs with a little pullback right here, testing these prior weekly resistance levels as potential support. And then once we lost that last week, where things really started to work their way down, notice how the cloud started to turn red here, and notice the gravity, right? The distance here of the cloud. So this is again the reason the cloud is like this. For anybody joining us new here, is this is coming from the Corona crash, right? So what happens is the cloud projects forward, certain moving averages. And it just gives us a note to be like, hey, we fell down here before. We're kind of coming up to a time frame where we might hit that area again. And the cloud just gives us a reminder of that. So good stuff there. Daily chart. Okay, so interesting stuff, right? So we pushed down on Friday. We definitely pushed down on Wednesday. This is a key day, right? Because Tuesday we had a compressed inside day. This is an NR7 inside day. We gap below there, and we gap below the cloud. And we also gap below the corrective channel. That really showed that this trend was working on shifting its way down. So we had a big gap down there. We filled this open gap here below, right? We tried to push into that range again the next day. Nice reversal here from the lows back in the range. Then we pushed in again, right, on Friday. Tried to get back in the prior range, and we got some follow through here today. We're still below the ADMA. We're still below the cloud. We still have this big open gap above to contend with. One of the things we're looking at is potential. We talked about it last night on the Elliott Wave show. One of the things we're looking at here is potential ABC pullback, right? So this was originally looking like the pullback, zigzag pullback, right? You kind of count a 5 in here, ABC 3, 5. So very, very possible. And then we were looking like that. We were breaking out of the channel right here, working our way up, but our thought was that this is a bull flag, but we never broke above it, right? So it's tough to get in, right, until we can actually confirm. So we didn't do that, and then we gap down, we gap below. So now it's looking like an ABC pullback right here. One of the things we can look at, right, is from the lows to the highs of the Corona crash to the recent all-time highs. We still have this 382 down here, which is a common wave 4 pullback area. So what we could see here is actually an ABC, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down. So an impulsive move down here. This is very possible heading into the elections, especially if we get a contestant election, right? Get volatility up, bring these things down. But we really want to see how it holds this level right here. A lot of folks obviously will be looking at the 200-day moving average. If we break below there, the bears are really going to think that this is the end, right? And go down here. But we want to see how we hold the 382. If we hold that, then we might actually work for a massive wave 5 up and go from there. So maybe contested election, and then everything's resolved and everything is awesome. So we'll see where we go from there. Again, all hypothetical right now, but we'll see going into tomorrow. So tomorrow being a big event, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Let's take a look at the price action here today. So kind of a choppy day. We did gap up, but we didn't gap over the prior day's high. So it wasn't a true gap. It was just a closing gap up. So we gapped over the prior day's close. So we didn't get a really big gap and go type move. We got a little bit of a push, and we ran into some trouble here getting over Thursday's highs, last Thursday's highs, and that gave us the initial move down. A little bit of a retrace right here. If you look at that retrace, right, it's pretty decent. Oh, look at that, right between the 382 and the 50, right, and that ended up working our way down here. This was the move of the day right here. This was the move. We were waiting for it all day. We had a nice geometric line. We talked about it on the future. We'll show it again here in a moment, right, but you can kind of see it right here. Once we broke through that geometric line, nice move down off of that, and then, of course, they bought the dip here inside 15 up off of that. So good stuff there. Let's take a look at the 5-minute chart, and so you can see the levels that we provide to our members before each market open. So good stuff. You can see some of the levels really didn't, there weren't too many levels to contend with today, but really is our volumetric level right here. This is kind of like your point of control from the day before, right? So that we bounced right off of that today, right, to get back into the 15-orb range. So it was tough in the 15-orb range today, but like I said, once we broke down those levels, things started to move. Let's take a look at the S&P futures and see how they're behaving here tonight, or misbehaving. So we got another squeeze up at the close, right? And it looks like we're drifting up a little bit going into the rest of the evening. So let's put a channel on this. Going here to here and here, and see how that holds for the rest of the evening going into tomorrow. Again, we had a lot of levels that played out really nicely here today. So overnight, right, so from Sunday to Monday, right, we looked at this last night. Remember, we put a triangle on this last night. We broke out, right, about 4 a.m. Big push. Right, that was a big move. I was almost thinking they, took the majority of the meat off the bone going into today, but they did give some opportunities because we could not clear the overnight high. Right, once we saw an upper shadow up here, it was our signal that, hey, things might be working their way down. Right, we pushed down nicely. We retested the signal zones, and once we flushed out of that geometric line right here, we got to the signal zone below before the bounce. Working our way up, retracement, and now we're channeling up here into the evening. So we'll keep track of that going into tomorrow, and of course tomorrow morning we'll tweet these levels out in the public Twitter. And of course, we provide a little more in-depth detail for our group, but we'll be keeping an eye on that for sure. So good stuff. So we got elections tomorrow. So this week, we're going to be talking about trading around big events. I'm sure there'll be plenty to talk about even after tomorrow. So today we're going to talk about day trading around big events, and today we're going to be talking about straddles. Okay, so what's a straddle? A straddle is simply where you buy the call and the put at the same strike price, and normally they're the at the monies. Okay, so why do we do that? What are we expecting when we get a straddle? Straddles are designed in such a way, market makers make them in such a way that the expected move price is typically the straddle price. This way, it's not like the easy get rich quick way where we can just buy straddles all the time and be like, oh, if it goes up, it goes down, and make money. No, it's got to move beyond the combination of the price for things to go. So what we're expecting on these are bigger moves so that the straddles will play. So in this case, we don't know which way it's going to go, but we think it's going to move big time. So there's a big event coming. So a straddle is one way to do it. Now, I want to obviously preface everything. We talk about this being educational purposes only, not investment advice. I'm not saying buy straddles into the election tomorrow, but I'm saying it's an idea. Right? These are things that we look at. We'll talk a little bit more about it as we go through this week and some other options as well. So let's take a look at this here. Let me get this pulled up. Give me 1 second. Hold on 1 second here. Let's get this here. I gotta 1 second here. Let me do this here. And let's go to the. Let me go back here. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me get this pulled up. Let's go to a weekly chart here. That could be interesting. So let's do this. So all right. So let's take a look here. All right. So I've got a weekly chart pulled up here on the. Let's just go to the SPY. And you can see here what we look at is what we look at is we go to the options, and we go to SPY, and so what we do is we look at the calls and the puts, right? And in this case right here, we were looking at the calls and puts. So a little bit skewed right now, right? Just because this is today's expiration. So let's look at tomorrow's expiration on the 4th. Right, so you go to the calls and the puts, and notice how these are pretty expensive, right? So market makers are pricing in a lot of volatility. The volatility is pretty high on the SPY right now. So again, a $4 at the money and a $5 at the money, they're expecting some moves, right? So they're expecting basically a $10 move already going into the election. So that's why I'm saying you got to be careful with this stuff. Sometimes they get really, really overpriced. But let's just take a look and show. So all you do is you buy the call and you buy the put. And give me one second here. So you buy the call. I need to think I'd hit the control button right here. Oh, now it's doing this. Buy that, and then you buy the put. Okay, so what it does is automatically here in Thinkorswim, right? It tells you that you're buying a call and a put, both at the 331 strike price, and it is a straddle. Okay, so you can see here they're $10. That's pretty expensive for a SPY. That's normally something that you'd look to see at SPX back in the day, right? So they're expecting already like a $10 move off of this thing, which really doesn't help us going into this particular event. Maybe it will. Maybe we will move 10 points on the SPY, but it's kind of rare, right? So so what do we look for? So again, a 10-point move going into the elections, right? A 10-point move going into the elections, right, would put us at 340. That's possible, right? So if you have a major, excitement, right, we can see that. Or you have a $10 move to the downside, right? So that's as long as it breaks one of those levels. This is a weekly chart, right? It's a pretty big move. Now we did see it last week, but we could see it. It is possible. So we just have to see how it goes. But again, I think to me it seems a little bit of expensive going into the election. And the one thing about just like getting chopped up in a regular options, you can get really chopped up in a Straddles. There's a lot of risk involved. If it doesn't move, just consider both the call and the put basically worthless, right? So that's tough. But if they do move big, it can be a big range. So let's just go back and check and see what happened back in 2016, and see if we can get back that far here. Let's go back here. Let's go back. We'll go back 5 years. Okay, so we go back into 2016, and we get to the 2016, 2017. Let's get to the elections right here. So right in this area, right? So you can see here, right, back in November of 2016, right, things started to get a little bit wild, right? So we had a big move off, right? Everybody's thinking the market's going to go down, and then, whoa, things definitely changed right here, right? So you can see the range of this candle from the last election. This is for the week, right, is only 7 points. So they're already pricing in almost a $10 move going into tomorrow, and I can only imagine that the volatility will go up there. But it's something to look at. It's something to consider. So one thing you can do is, let's go to the daily chart right here. Let's go back to that week, and let's see if I can pull it up here on the daily. And let's go 5 years back, and we'll go back into, what is this, VWAP on here? I got the VWAP on here. All right, crazy. VWAP on there. Okay, VWAP doesn't really work on the daily chart. So if we go back here to 2016, right, we go into the election time frame right here, right, you can see exactly what happened, right? So go down, and then boom, huge gap up, right? So so we closed here at 208, right, and then we gapped up to 211, and we ended up working our way up, and then it continued to move. So again, way less than a 10-point move right there. So what we can do is we can actually calculate the what the straddle price was at the time, right? So so here we wanted to, that was the 7th. If we go back to let's see, if we go back to November of 20, let me just double check what the expiration was. Let's see if we look at the weekly chart today. So 2016, and we go into November, right? And so we go that week of this was the 4th, right? And we gapped up that next day on the 7th, which was Monday. So Tuesday, right? Kind of this area right here. So if we just look at the week, just say like the Wednesday expiration, like the 9th, if we got a straddle going into this move right here, into the let's just say the 9th expiration, what we would do is we would add the call and the put together, and we could see what they did, right? So we go to .SPY, that was 2016, and that was 11. Let's just go to we said the 09s, and we'll go to the calls, and let's just do 209 calls plus the 209 puts. Okay, so we just can put those up here, put that here. All right, and now we can look at the generally what the straddle pricing was at the time. Dude, you guys, you lost the feed? It should be. It looks like it's coming through. I can see it coming through on YouTube pretty quickly. Merritt. So it's coming through. Maybe it's just delaying between areas. Okay. So here we go. So here was the ninth, right? So from the fourth, just saying, if you bought in on the fourth on the straddles, the key thing about the straddles, you have to ignore the upper shadows, right? Because these are kind of like crazy moves on just on the calls or the puts, and they really don't affect the straddle pricing. Really, what you want to do is kind of focus on the real bodies, right? So one way to do that, of course, is to just appearance. You can remove the shadows, right? So you can kind of go like this, right? And you kind of see what happened here. So if we go to the fourth, right, they were $5.60, so a little bit cheaper than last time, right? And you can see here, right, they worked their way up, and they actually did a pretty good move right here on the straddles. You can see the next day, or the next week, right, they pushed all the way up here from $3, and I'm sorry, from $5.60. They hit a high of $7.14, and they ended up going all the way up to $7.50. So not really a double or anything like that, but one way to manage that potential move on the big event. So a straddle is one way to do that. We look at that with okay, good. So we look at that with earnings, and we'll talk more about all that this week. But this is something to look at and just kind of see how the straddle prices move going into the election tomorrow. So good stuff. So I hope you guys found that helpful. And at this point, if anybody has any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those in the chat window, and we'll get through as many as we can and try to wrap up as early as possible so we can all get a good night's sleep and have another awesome trading day tomorrow. So good stuff. All right, let me make sure everything's coming through okay here. It looks like it's coming through okay. And good stuff. All right, so Shirley sent a few in via email. And again, guys, thanks everybody for keeping Shirley your thoughts and prayers as she gets better all the time. And so let's take a look at TT. Okay, so train. Can't stop a train. So this thing's been working its way up pretty nicely right here. So definitely working on an uptrend, right? You can even see from the lows, the highs, right? Definitely a nice uptrend move right here. And some decent volume came in after earnings, but you got declining volume working its way up. So a little bit of caution off of that one. Again, obviously caution on everything going into earnings, going into the elections tomorrow. So good find on that one though. ADP, again, nice inside day up on this one. This is a tough one to trade, but sometimes it does make a couple moves. So it does look like it's getting strong here, and a decent follow through from after earnings on ADP. AbbVie, nice gap up today. Excuse me. Nice gap up today. So good push off here off of the spinning top. Right, it's just watch for a little resistance there at the 200-day and the 50-day, and just kind of keep an eye if it pulls back. Just see if it holds the 382, maybe fills that closing gap, and then tries to work its way up to the cloud. So something to keep an eye on there. Let's take a look at NEM. Again, NEM. This sector was hot today, so the kind of the industrial sector-ish type group was pretty strong here today. So it looks like three white soldiers working its way up here. I like how it pierced into the cloud. Declining volumes a little bit, but it did get over the 50-day. Let's see if it can continue to work its way up into the cloud on that one. And then Plug. Again, keep an eye on Plug, guys. Again, I think some solar names reported today. A little bit of struggles right there, but again, this is one that we looked at again with the 2.618 retrace, kind of pulled its way back. Looking like a wave 1, 2, 3, ABC 4, wave 5, and we might be looking at some sort of corrective pattern right here. It looks pretty impulsive. Look for an ABC, up, and then a possible pullback on that one. Let's see how it handles going into earnings. So good stuff. So keep an eye on those. Thank you, Shirley. Appreciate it. Umesh, what's going on? Good to see you. Let's take a look at NEO. So we talked about this one yesterday, right? So again, bull flag breakout, bull flag inside day breakout. We had a big breakout candle again, right? On Thursday and Friday gave us a nice inside day, and today got the gap up and a nice push there. Some of our members swung that overnight and got them a good move. Now we just got to watch out for that inside. The red spinning top that we got here today. So just kind of keep an eye on it, right? So one of the things that we could look at, this might be the finishing end of a wave 5. Again, apparently they sold more cars than expected, right? So, I mean, one thing you could do is, for the wave 5, is you could go up to, kind of a pullback here. We go to the top of wave 4 and pull back to wave 4. So it's kind of a 1.27, right? If we pull back here is from the wave 1. Right, 2.618 already exceeded, right? So, I mean, this thing is definitely working its way. Just kind of pay attention to that spinning top, see if it turns into a reversal. A little bit scary there off of that one, but nice inside day up today. Beautiful move before the pullback. And then Tesla. So, inside day on Tesla. It did climb its way up. We got up about 12, 14, 15 points or so today. Couldn't get over the 8th day, but it did get back in the triangle a little bit, left us with an inside day today. So let's see if it gives a compression to expansion going into tomorrow, one way or the other. But I do like how it's coming back into the triangle range. I'm going to watch for a breakdown on that too. PayPal with an inside day and earnings tonight, right? So PayPal down on, I believe, good earnings, right? So it's down to like 174. So it's gapping down kind of in this area right here. Watch this. As long as it holds these levels right here, we might see a reversal on it. So something to keep an eye on, especially with good earnings. So that's something to keep an eye on too. Square, again, earnings coming up, but possibly moving in sympathy with PayPal. A little bit of sympathy with PayPal. So something to keep an eye on there, but it's holding the cloud so far. It did break down below its channel along with the rest of the market. Twilio, let's take a look. So Twilio, again, pulling back into the gap right here. It's bouncing a little bit off the 50-day. Let's see if that can hold. I'd really like to see it get strong and close over the 8-day to see if it can kind of work its way back up again. Unity Software, again, I had that one momentum move out of the geometric level right there and kind of pulled back in the range pretty harshly last Friday. Inside day so far down 75 cents. See if it takes that inside day down and tests this geometric line here below. Frog. Again, pulling back pretty nicely right here. Big upper shadow right here. Bunch of red candles, right? Upper shadow off the 8-day, right? And back down again. Again, that was such a clean move down, right? It barely got over the 236. So, and then continue to work its way down. Let's see how it handles going into earnings. Snow. Up and down again, right? All the way back up to 300. It was kind of hanging onto the 618, and now it's rejecting the 618. So we'll see how it handles that inside candles below the 8-day. Watch for a breakdown there, possibly come down into the prior triangle range on Snow. GRDX. Grand Lux, maybe GDX. Anyway, yeah, the miners kind of getting pretty strong there today. AMWL, let's take a look. Yeah, AMWL, American Wow, just still tanking right here. Inside day down, right, off of the 618. It could not hold the 618. Now it's in the 886 area. Again, earnings coming up on that one pretty soon, too. Let's see how that one behaves. Geo, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. CVX, yes, the oil sector is starting to perk up here. I'm liking it. Right, so let's see. To me, it looks like it's trying to get out of finally this downtrend. I'm watching it for a pullback. See if it gives a nice pullback. You know, if we can get something like a little bit of a pullback here, maybe back to the 382, the 618, maybe we can get a push back up to the cloud on CVX. So definitely keep an eye on the oil sector. Great find on that one. JP Morgan, again, the banks were strong today. It was tough to stay short of the market today with the banks still behaving. So we had that going on here today. We just looked at, again, watch the inside day down for a possible test of the geometric line below. Coop. Nasty. Big breakdown here. It was dripping out of the cloud with increased volume here, and then just flushed through all these levels, and now we just want to see how it holds that pivot level below. Very, very similar to the market. Triple M, the heartbreaker, inside day up. Caution on that one. I know it gave a nice gap up. It did it on low volume. It closed over the 8-day. This thing could go all over the place. Such a tough one to trade. MO. Doji still kind of holding on there after earnings, so let's see if it kind of work its way back up. And then Uberte. So Uber, a little bit push right there. Still trying to get its way above the cloud, but again, this thing's been chopping for a while. I think we looked at this last night. Again, just kind of like this this triangle range right now. So a little bit of caution off of that one. So again, Lyft started to get a move today too, just in case you didn't look at that one yet. Lyft to give a nice move right here. It's coming right to the downward trend line. So a lot of call activity on this one. Maybe they're trying to push it into earnings. We'll see, but kind of a little bit of a doji sandwich up here. Just watch that trend line right there. A little bit of a caution. It might be a reversal area. It looks like it's coming up to a 786 from this last down. 618 right now. So just kind of see how it holds this area. Otherwise, it might work its way down into earnings. But a big move off of a lot of call activity, which is pretty interesting on that one today. ZK, what's going on? CGC, big breakout today, guys. We didn't talk about it last night, but I sent this to my group this morning. I was like, hey, the CGC's got a double inside day, right? And so some members traded this one today very, very well, and it gave a very strong move at the open, and look what it did here today. Nice little 618 golden zone retrace here to the ADMA, and just launched for the rest of the day. Amazing stuff on that one. So keep an eye on that one, and then this one might be very active after the election. Save. Hanging in there, right? So the airlines, again, I think they're just waiting on really good stimulus news. But right now, it's just basically chopping around. So again, we want to see a nice breakout, ideally over the 200-day moving average. Would be great. So good stuff there. Thanks to EK. Mike, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Time to buckle up for the election. Exactly. Good stuff. Let's take a look at Facebook. So Facebook, guys, again, we looked at this potential bear flag recently, and we started to break down below there in the cloud. So we do have an upper shadow here off the ADMA, and still continue to work its way down. Guys, the intraday price action on this thing was crazy, right? So again, big push up at the open, pretty strong here. Then it gave us the inside 15, and it just took that down and just did not stop. It stayed below the ADMA for the majority of the day before bouncing at the end. Nice short opportunity intraday, and again, still breaking down below essentially this this channel / bear flag. So we got that going on there, and then Google. Of course, this is after good earnings too. Speaking of good earnings, Google with good earnings, still hanging in there, inside day. Again, probably just waiting on earnings on this one. So a little bit of caution right there. But if I'm sorry, elections on this one. So let's see how it goes. Kind of a big range inside day, but big upper shadow too. So keep an eye on it. If the market's weak tomorrow, Google might try to work on that gap below. So good stuff there, Rocky. What's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Let's take a look at Dow. Yeah, Dow's a tough one to trade with options, right? But it did give a nice push up right here. Inside day up. It's right at the 50-day in the top of the cloud. Watch that as potential resistance. EIGI. Whoa, big gap up on that one. So let's see what's going on with this one here. Why did it get higher? Endurance International shares spike higher. Q3 results beat consensus, so I guess they had a big gap up on earnings today. So nice move there. Never traded this one before, but just kind of keep an eye to see how it holds a gap. Kind of a narrow range day today for it. Again, kind of a cheap name right here. The range of today's candle was only 16 cents, right? But a big gap up if anybody held it through earnings. Nice move there. Great stuff. Merritt, good, awesome. Glad you were able to jump back in there. Let's take a look at Nvidia. Thanks for letting me know though for checking on that, because sometimes we do lose feeds. Nvidia there still triangulating inside day within this triangle range right here. So see how it holds. It is below its macro trend line, but again, it looks like it is triangulating here. See how it holds. Earnings coming up, so maybe a potential earnings run. Keep an eye on that inside day going into tomorrow. And BABA. So BABA just kind of grinding its way up right here again, still holding on to that 1.618 extension. Just keep an eye on these names. Earnings coming up this week too. Good stuff. Umesh, good RX. I got you. GDRX. I might have typed in the wrong thing. Sorry about that. Yeah, I remember you've been asking about this too. So it's approaching the inside day off of the day after IPO, and it's kind of coming back to these IPO levels. So very, very key levels for these to hold right here. This is a very, very important area for them to try to rally this thing. So good find on that one too. Tracy, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're well. Let's take a look at Amazonius. So Amazon with a little bit of a move down there today. Again, its macro trend is still trend box, right? So, we got this right here. Kind of tweeted it out tonight. So you got this here. You got your highs. You got your trend line, right? So that formed your trend box right here. I mean, the big level that this thing needs to contend with really is this, right? The macro trend box. So it's looking very similar to the market here. A, B, C potential. Again, if the elections are bad or, whatever, right? Possible pullback there to the 200-day to finish up this move. And that would bring it to 382s right here. 50% retraces right here. So that would be a huge pullback. Let's see if it can hold the trend box in the 382. That's kind of a key area for it. So good stuff there. And let's take a look at Zumba. Guys, we talked about this last night. I've been talking about it forever. The zigzag pullback right here. So this, it may be done. Right, here's the symmetrical move right down here, and then we hit the 50-day was the next target. So this is a very important area for it to try to consolidate and then possibly start to work its way up. So my thoughts on this one is if this is an ABC done, it might start to work on an impulsive wave up. So just see where it goes and then look for a retrace. Right, maybe back into this zone right here, and then for another move up on Zoom. So let's keep an eye on that one, especially as it, we get, corona cases, whatever happens with that one. So very, very good there. SEDG, earnings tonight, right? Yep, down pretty big on earnings right there, 213. Finally, they're pushing some money down here on the solar name. So let's see how that holds right here. So 213 puts us about, so about a gap down to the cloud right here. So kind of into some levels. There is an open gap right here. Watch, see if that gets filled tomorrow. See if it holds this thin cloud right here and tries to bounce off of it. Again, I think their earnings were actually good. No, they had a miss on earnings. So yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on, but a big area right here to kind of focus on, right? Because we have a big area of interest right there. So see how it holds. We got an open gap right there. And then we'll see where we go from there. So good stuff. Umesh, yeah, my pleasure. Ria, what's going on? Yeah, PayPal. Yeah, so PayPal with earnings tonight. And I thought they had a beat on earnings. Maybe some guidance was a little bit rough on it. Whatever the case was, the market flushed it down. Of course, they flushed everything down on good earnings last week. So a big move down here, kind of in this 74 area, 174. Right, so just kind of see how it holds those levels, and it's kind of coming down here to this level right here. It's going to be a very important level here, 171.63, very important pivot for it to hold. If it does hold, right, we might see a little bit of a reversal on PayPal, so definitely something to keep an eye on for tomorrow. So good stuff, guys. Great chart requests tonight, and awesome stuff. I really appreciate everybody for tuning in. I hope you guys found this helpful. We'll be talking about some more big event ideas going out through the rest of the week, and of course tomorrow is the election, so let's see how that goes. But once again, guys, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you're new here, definitely click subscribe on YouTube. And whether you're new here or not, please hit the like button. It goes a long way. And even if you're watching the video, please hit the like button too. So good stuff. It means a lot, and I really appreciate it. And I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your evening. We'll catch you guys bright and early tomorrow on the Good Morning Market Prep video. We'll see what's going on in the morning with the futures and what's setting up and what's gapping and what's not. And we'll see you guys then. So until then, stay healthy out there, and remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And I'll talk to you guys